Okay, welcome back, everybody. So, today we're going to talk about potentially the ideal split design for maximizing muscle growth, especially in a bulking season, in an off season when food is high. And the reason why I chose to change my push pull leg split and my thoughts and experiences with this, and why I'm deciding to switch to a little bit of a different kind of split that I'm going to explain to you in this video. I'm going to have my upper body workout running in the background here just for showing you how that's set up and just for some entertainment. So that's going to be running in the background, and then let's get into this topic. So basically, the best way to maximize my bulking season or my off season that's going to be happening now. Basically, I'm about 4 weeks post show right now. I've already gained about 5 kilos so far, still in a good condition. So I'm in the perfect position to start an off season and really start growing some muscle. And I put some thought into what I want to train, how I want to set up my training. I think it's one of the most important factors, obviously, to grow muscle. It's not just go in, work out hard, and you're going to grow. I do think that there's a lot of benefit to perfecting your training split and just setting up your training sessions correctly to maximize that. So what do I want in this off season to maximize my muscle growth? I really want to put on as much muscle mass as possible. I'm really trying to push my scale weight up, hopefully another 10 kilos until next year, which is what I achieved last year. So I'm hoping to be able to keep that up. So first thing we got to think about is the frequency, meaning how many times a week do you work out each muscle, or how many times a week do you put a stimulus on each muscle? Obviously, second part is going to be the strength progression. This goes a little bit hand in hand with recovery. So are you recovering enough to be able to push your strength up and progress in the gym? One of the main focus points as well. Third of all, obviously, a quality stimulus to the muscle. That means each of the sets we do, we want to stimulate the muscle correctly. We really want to put a very targeted stimulus on the muscle we're trying to target and not just throwing around weights. Fourth of all is volume. So volume is a driver of hypertrophy as well. Volume is a factor in growing muscle. There is a certain level or a certain threshold of volume on the lower end to at least maintain muscle. And then obviously, the more volume you can do, but also recover from, the more muscle you will grow. So volume is a factor as well. And you just need to balance that out with the other factors that I mentioned. The pump is just a byproduct. So the pump is not something I'm going to be really worried about, but I do already get great pumps, even when I work out the way I do, which is a little bit more of a high intensity approach. I still get fantastic pumps, meaning I'm targeting the muscles correctly. It's basically just a sign that's telling me if I'm doing a chest press and I get a nice chest pump, it's working. I'm targeting the muscle correctly. I'm hydrated and all that good stuff. So it's just obviously it's a nice feeling and it's just a byproduct of the workout. It's not something I necessarily chase by doing crazy intensity techniques or trying to go really high repetition or take the rest periods too low to just chase a pump. That's not what we're doing. We're really trying to get a quality stimulus on the muscle and progress. Obviously, push pull legs is one of those splits where it's kind of a nice mix of volume and frequency, which is what I did last year. So basically, I did a pull, push, rest, legs, rest, and then I repeated that cycle, meaning I had a rest day right before the leg day and right after the leg day because the legs is really something I really need to bring up. So I did it that way. Obviously, the frequency wasn't as high. I only trained everything about once every 5 days or even 6 days. Not sure right now. I think 5 days. And the question to me was, okay, can I optimize this for the coming off season? So I want a bit more frequency and I want to be able to save that rest day between my leg days so that I can get that higher frequency. So What I'm gonna go do is not go completely to a two-way split, like an upper lower, or a front, like a pull push, full body push, full body pull. I'm actually gonna go into a rotation that is a mix of a push pull legs. So we're gonna do push pull legs rest, upper lower rest, and that comes out to exactly 7 days. So everything will be trained exactly twice a week, meaning we have the higher frequency, everything is trained twice a week, but I also don't have to go too crazy with low rest days. So, of course, you could do push pull legs 6 times a week, but then you'll only have one rest day a week. I do think 2 rest days a week at least is something you should aim for. So that's why I'm going to do this. I'm going to go into the upper lower, which is something I haven't done before. But I'm curious to try it out, or I can say I've already tried it out now twice for the past week, and it felt good. It felt like it is something that might work out well for this off season. The big advantage of this as well is that I can split my leg days up a little bit, so I can do one leg day with a quad dominance, uh, a quad dominant leg day, and then one a more hamstring and glute dominant leg day, which just is something that's going to help me really develop my legs. I still train both parts of the legs in each workout, but that's what I want to do. But I also still have a higher volume rotation, right? So the push pull legs, I can still do relatively high volume for each muscle group. And then I have one low volume rotation with the upper lower where I just really push the intensity, have lower volume, but have that higher frequency. So that's kind of the trade off I'm taking here. And I hope that this is really going to work out for me. So the most important thing for this to work is going to be that each set has to be on point. Each set has to be pushed until failure and has to really give a high stimulus for growth. I don't have sets to spare to just throw around and like, oh, that set wasn't so good, I'll just do another one. I really have to make sure each set is perfect. Focus, go into these sets in a really focused manner and get the most out of each set. So it's going to be difficult to adjust from that when you're coming from a more high volume training, like a bro split, for example. But I already have been doing high intensity, so I'm used to that. But now it has to be even more when I'm doing the upper lower sessions, obviously. Obviously, I'm logging my lifts as well. So just to make sure that I am having that progression over the long term, but I'm not logging every set because it does distract me a little bit. I feel like that's something that gets in your head. It will make you maybe ego lift just in order to beat your logbook. That's not something I want to do. I also don't want to count my reps during each set because it also distracts me from the quality of the set itself. I'd rather just record the set and see the repetitions at the end in the video. So I'm not too anal about the logbook, but I do logbook at least one set for each exercise or so just to see if I'm progressing. And then last but not least, obviously, I'm going to really need to keep a very close eye on the recovery. So since we're doing a higher frequency now, we're doing only 2 rest days a week. I really need to see how my body feels, and your body's going to tell you, or my body's going to tell me, is this too much? If so, I need to scale it back. I might go back to that pull push rest legs rest that I did last off season, or I'll think about something else that allows me to recover a little bit more. But for now, it's been working well, and we'll see how that continues over the longer term. Now, obviously, you were able to see my upper body session here. I start with side raises on this one just because it warms up the shoulder joint and it also doesn't take away from any of the other exercises. And then, I go into the back exercises because what I really want to do is put on the most amount of muscle as possible. And the most amount of muscle is on your back and your legs. They have the most potential for muscle growth in terms of just pure muscle mass and stage weight that I want to put on. So those are the focus points here. And I'm going to go over these sessions in more detail in another video. But you were just able to get a certain idea of this upper body workout. 2 exercises for the back, 2 for the chest, 1 for biceps, 1 for triceps, 2 for shoulders. Basically 2 sets on each of these has to be enough. Just straight sets, no intensifiers. And then 3 sets on the smaller muscle groups, meaning the shoulders and the arms. They get 3 sets each, just because it doesn't take away as much recovery, and I think I'll be able to recover from that. And that's that. Those are my thoughts going into this next bulking season about my training. So this is how I've decided to split it up for now. I'm going to keep you updated on how it works out. I'm going to keep you updated on the progress. Obviously, you were able to see a little physique update there as well, just to see how it's looking right now. And then hopefully we can continue to push up from here. And that's it. Peace.